Desde la cabina más importante de Long Island, en New York, infórmate de lo que pasa en tu barrio. En 3, 2, 1, arrancamos. Anthony from the Neighborhood en Latino Mix. Dale play a tu bocina.
Así mismo, dale play a su bocina y bienvenidos al nuevo año 2023. Welcome to the new year, guys, and make sure to hit play on that button right there. There is so many new things happening here at Latino Mix, and I'm glad to be a part of it. So welcome to the show from the neighborhood in this brand new year. We're kicking it back to the neighborhoods and the places and the stories that we've been covering the entire time in 2022, and I appreciate you guys having been a part of it. There's just so much we learned and so much we're going to do because of what we learned that I just can't wait to get started. I mean, señores, nosotros hemos hecho mucho y hemos aprendido de lo que hemos hecho y ahora vamos a comenzar cosas nuevas que, bueno, ya ustedes saben, nosotros aquí vamos a hacer cosas muy especiales. La página de internet la está cambiando. No le voy a decir lo que está viniendo. El logo es nuevo. No le voy a decir por qué. Like, there's a lot that's happening. So you guys got to tune into every single show, every single day. O sea, tú sabes que tenemos programa mañanero de la tarde. And then, of course, myself, I'm here on the weekend. So, guys, make sure to tune in. We're 24/7 here on Latino Mix. There's a lot happening. ¿Y de qué se trata el programa de nosotros? Bueno, el año pasado estaban estabilizando historias que eran historias de su vecindario y la gente locales que están viviendo allá y todas las cosas que están haciendo. So, all these local notables, they're getting heard and they're letting people know, hey, I represent my neighborhood. And with that, I wore the I Am Bushwick because that's where I got my start. Way back when. We won't say it right now. Maybe later on you'll hear, so you got to tune into other episodes. But that's where I started. Ahí fue que yo comencé en Bushwick, Brooklyn. Y desde ahí ya usted sabe que comenzó el libro de Anthony. Y ahora nosotros estamos aquí en el programa From the Neighborhood contando un poquito de mí, un poquito de ti, un poquito de nuestro vecino. Y nos estamos uniendo. We're breaking down the barriers of what it's like to be from a specific area and finding common ground. We're more like than unalike. And we're learning from each other and all of our stories, from everything that we've accomplished and all of our failures, all of our upsets, we learn. And we learn from each other and we learn from our neighbors. So let's go back to who's from the neighborhood and all the things that we've got in 2022. It's just good times. It's just really good times. Son buenos tiempos. Y con eso me voy con la canción clásica, Disco Baby. Let's go with good times.
De regreso con Anthony from the Neighborhood.
Sí, bienvenidos aquí al programa donde nosotros estamos recordando los tiempos de antes. We're remembering the past episodes. We're going back to 2022, and I'm paying commemoration and appreciation, all of the gratitude for the folks who are here and made this show possible. You guys have a great story. Make sure to reach out to me and get to me on Instagram, get to me on, I don't know, my website, through Latino Mix, through any of the ways that you think you can find me. It's going to be From the Neighborhood. Very easily. 3 words. From the Neighborhood. Localízame por allá y déjame saber, mira, yo tengo una buena historia, cuéntame un poquito de lo que tú quieres decir y lo que está pasando en tu vecindario para ver si usted puede ser un invitado aquí en el programa. So be a guest on the show and jump on there. And if you're a business owner, you want people to experience your business. And for that, make sure they reach out to us and we'll help you out. We got a whole team here. We'll set up what you want and make sure your message gets across to the community. So if you guys are in a neighborhood and you want to represent it, there's one more thing you got to do. Jump on fromtheneighborhood.com and make sure to pick up the merch, just like what I'm wearing right here. I am Bushwick. So what I'm saying is pick up one of those and support the show because we've got a lot that we're coming through for 2023. And I'm going to kick this back here for 2022 or for how much or for what reason. It's just fun. It's fun. It really transports you to the point where you feel like you're a character in your favorite fairy tale, your favorite story. You feel like you're somewhat of a superhero. There's just so much that you feel you can offer that is way beyond what you see on a day-to-day right in front of you. So, señores, yo le voy a decir una cosita que yo aquí me he sentido como transportado y he podido ponerme los zapatos de otro cuando estoy escuchando la historia. Y algunas veces en la reflexión de yo hablar con ustedes, aprendo un poquito más. So, very trippy, guys, but definitely a wonderful journey. And I got to say, it's kind of like a fairy tale. And there's a little saying when you would be little, like Humpty Dumpty and all that stuff. And it takes me to this song here. And I'm going to try this. It's a tongue twister. But if Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, where's the peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked? I got it. And that's my man right there, my group, my 2 guys here, Run DMC. These guys here are the jam representing Queens. Let's go Run DMC and let's go back to the time of that fairy tale. Let's do it.
De de regreso con Anthony from the Neighborhood.
Espero que le están gustando la canción. Obviamente son canciones clásicas. We have always the classic throwbacks. I hope you're enjoying those jams. Run DMC, it's the song you're going to really pump into at any party. It doesn't matter if we're 3,000 years from today. Peter Piper, you know that song's going to be jamming. So I got to tell you, man, I have been jamming here with you guys for some time, and I've had a blast. Lo he pasado muy, muy bien con ustedes. And when I've spent it with you guys, that mindset conversation has gone deep. Vamos a repasar lo que estaba en el 2022 con este video de cuando nosotros estábamos hablando y aprendiendo sobre nosotros mismos. So the first neighborhood, and I said it from the very beginning, is the one between your two ears. Let's grow that neighborhood. Let's get to know that neighborhood. So nosotros estamos en un mundo que estamos compartiendo todo y lo más importante es que nosotros encontramos comunidad. What if your dream was a person that existed out there and was living a life like you were? And they said, man, I can't wait till I meet somebody who gives me life. And you said, man, I can't wait till I find a perfect time, place, and whatever else. You know, I can't wait till it all lines up for me to find or live my perfect dream. Well, what if your two roads crossed each other? What if your road and the road of the dream came together? Puso a mí a un paso de la vida donde yo digo, wow, lo que uno manifiesta, lo que uno se pone a hablar en su mente puede ser la realidad. Right? Like, think about it, guys. What you think about is your reality, right? Like, what you're going through right now is what you're creating with your own thoughts. And it's so crazy because I say this because I'm on the radio. I'm on the radio with you guys. I thought about this in so many ways when I was a kid. The point is, I was calling the opportunity for radio since I was a child. Estaba llamando esa oportunidad. So, guys, don't take your wishes in vain. If there's anything you want to take away from what I'm saying right now, is that if I'm here and I'm talking to you guys and I'm here on a radio station and entertaining you, you can do it too. You don't know what there is out there for you, but if you think about it, that's one thing. But apply yourself in some sort of direction towards that. And you're going to trip, right? Because nobody was born walking. Vas a trompezar en camino allá, pero si te aplica a lo que tú estás pensando, puede ser que te llegue. Buenos videos. Así que ustedes saben que tienen que entrarse a la página de Latino Mix para que vean los videos y puede regresar a ese tiempo y recordar esos momentos. So, guys, go back and remember 2022. And it wasn't just the conversations that you and me had. I had conversations with Jessica Rivera, Teneri Estevez. These folks are in the mindset business, a mindset coach. And then I had someone with a mental health therapy business here in Long Island talk about the importance of where your mind is at. So it's not just me. This isn't me coming and being your guru. This is something where it's an important part of your life. La salud mental y el pensamiento de lo que tú llevas por dentro es muy, muy importante. Teniendo ese orgullo por sí mismo, ese respeto por sí mismo y reconociendo que tú existes en este mundo es muy, muy importante. No solamente porque lo dije yo, pero yo estuve dos invitados. Vamos a chequear un video de cuando yo estuve Jessica aquí y también a Teneri para que vea cuáles son las cosas que ellos dijeron que son muy importantes para que tú lo vayas incorporando en su vida, especialmente en este año nuevo. So it's a great way to start the new year. Let's check out this video. So, mantener el balance de entre la familia, el trabajo, su profesión. And this isn't a profession where you can necessarily be like, oh, I'm just going to go to work and every day is the same thing. You got to keep up with the studies. People's minds and trends and all sorts of stuff changes. And these life stages you mentioned were huge.
Right.
So, talk to me about like one of them. What's some of the biggest things that people come to you with?
Being a parent. Being a parent, someone's brain shifts completely. That's even being a dad or a mom. It doesn't matter the gender. Once you become a parent, your brain automatically shifts.
Yeah.
So there was one way you maybe were able to multitask before having children. Then you notice after having children, you're like, I was always a multitasker. Why can I not do it now? It's just your brain completely shifts. So I think that's
I
one of
thought
the
I was
things
getting
people,
old.
No, it's being a parent.
Ahí manejando su negocio Balance, y lo que está hablando ahorita es que si tú no lo atiendes, lo que tiene mal por dentro se vuelve un veneno, un tóxico. And that's why I played the song Poison. It becomes poison if you don't take care of what's going on with your mental health. So what other things do you recommend if someone is still shy about seeking mental health? What's some of the things that they can do to kind of, give themselves that open space to regroup?
I would say letting go of that fear. I think majority of people have fear that holds them back from moving and growing. And if mental health is one of those areas where you wonder and you question, what can I do with my mental health? It's just get the help and see how it goes.
But a life coach is more, they do strategy. So if you, let's say, want to buy a house or you want to get a job. A life coach will help you get there. Mindset coaching is more internal, your internal thoughts, limiting beliefs. So we're really looking more internally. And that's why if you people do relate it to life coaching, but when you look at the things that I say in my post on Instagram, it's more like, how are you affecting your life?
Things. So what's some of the things that you can drop in their mind that's going to keep them positive?
Yeah, I will say that many times, and we play a victim role, right? We are like, how could they do that to us? Why? And when we start looking at, okay, well, what part am I playing? And many times, there's this quote from a book that I love from Eckhart Tolle that says, everybody wants peace until somebody upsets them. Right? So it's like, I just want peace, but why the hell did you cut me off?
Yeah.
And so I think we still have a choice. Regardless, we are choosing to be angry or we are choosing peace. No matter what, we still have a choice. And the second I ask myself, when I'm upset, and I call it activated, because of course I still get activated. The second I ask myself, why? What's the real reason? What is really bothering me here? Guess what? Poof, I'm not angry anymore because I'm too busy trying to figure out what is really upsetting me here.
Wow. This is like when I'm with my 2-year-old and I'm distracting them with another toy.
Exactly.
Señores, nosotros tenemos que ver la cosa de un punto de vista bien diferente y cambiar de la manera que nos estamos interpretando lo que es un problema. Porque a veces no es el problema. A veces somos nosotros haciéndolo ser un problema. So, vamos a ver que no sea tan importante, right? Y lo echamos a un lado. Y nos podamos concentrar de cómo fue que yo llegué a ponerme tan bravo, right? Or get so upset. How did I get to being so upset when the problem could have just been something I threw to the side? So, again, it reminds me of my 2-year-old.
You brought up a great example, your 2-year-old. Sometimes we have to parent ourselves.
Yes.
And we have to speak to ourselves the way we would speak to our child, to our parent, to our sibling, to our best friend.
Wonderful times when you take a look at those videos and you start seeing like that other people are thinking the same things and going through same challenges and they're professionals. This is something that you start saying, wait a second, we're one and the same, right? No one's separate from the other. So, señores, no se sienten intimidados cuando sus doctores le den una receta o cuando alguien le dé como alguna idea de cómo usted se puede mejorar. Porque a veces es por su bien. Y lo más importante es la mentalidad de uno que esté en el sitio correcto, o sea, el sitio adecuado para su momento, porque la vida va a dar choques. And it's very interesting to hear from other people. Now, I'm going to take you on another journey to explore. We've done a lot of exploring in this program. We've gone into different communities. We've explored different cultures. We've even explored the communities themselves and the things that they offer. So we've had nonprofits who've come on here. We've had government officials who've come on. We've had folks who've come from neighborhoods that you would say, I wouldn't go there. From what I hear in the news, I don't want to be there. Señores, aquí estamos rompiendo lo que dice la noticia y conociendo las gentes locales. No simplemente cuando hay un accidente o cuando hubo un atraque y nos cuentan, sí, buena persona, no sé lo que pasó. No, that's not the people of the neighborhood. The people of the neighborhood are not the eyewitnesses that are saying, I don't know what just happened to the news anchor. They are people who are actually living their lives and having amazing things to say about their neighborhood. They're representing their community. Algunas cosas muy notables que están haciendo esta persona y vinieron desde el South Bronx. Let's go to South Bronx right now. Que le ha dado fama a Nueva York, and it's time for us to recognize the Bronx. So I'm very happy that this is my first episode that we're going to talk about the Bronx because, hey, just like every other place in New York City, Sharon, Luis Omar Figueroa, el hombre es hispano,
Luis
puertorriqueño.
Omar Figueroa.
Epa, puertorriqueño, del Bronx.
De la isla.
And you're still there in the Bronx.
I have a building there. My office is in the Bronx.
Wow,
in Sound Beach.
Está sembrado en la comunidad.
Yeah, I invested. That changed it a little more because now with ownership, you take pride.
Correct.
Right? With
correct.
ownership, right? So you're not in the projects no more. When
Exactly.
Now all of a sudden, I want to clean the front of my house. I want my neighbor to make sure
You have an invested interest.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. Because it's part of your identity.
Yeah.
And that is the part I try to tell people about. That's the beauty of ownership, right? Because you become attached.
And it'll be beautiful to know that, hey, this is a Latino neighborhood. Let's say like a little Puerto Rico, which is actually inhabited by Puerto Ricans.
Right.
Right? Because then it's not just a token name.
Right.
Right? It's an actual way of life. Hold on a second. So you were president of NARUP.
NARUP Bronx, yeah.
Yeah.
I founded the chapter and I was
all right. Well, NARUP is the National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals. He was the president of the chapter.
I was the founding president. I don't know if that means anything more.
No, listen, you started the ball rolling because the chapter is still in existence and that's for the Bronx.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
Way to go. Hey, can I get an applaud on that? That's a huge deal. We got executive officers.
You got presidents here, bro.
Beautiful, man. Well, listen, I'm glad that you founded such a thing because you know, people need to understand the importance of like really staking themselves into the ground, right?
It all circles back to my belief in financial literacy.
Ok, señores, aquí estamos en el programa From the Neighborhood y vamos a hablar con dos mujeres que nos están contando su historia, dos generaciones de mujeres. So really, like, who's that girl and who's that girl? So tell me life in the Bronx. Describe it to me.
So life in the Bronx, Papi, you know, it's ironic because although I was born and raised in New York, in the Bronx specifically, Papi raised me very traditional, right? So I wasn't allowed to go outside. So for us, I went to Sacred Heart Middle School from kindergarten all the way to 8th grade, which is on Nelson Avenue in the High Bridge area. So I was there for 9 years. I actually am still in touch with some of those teachers over there.
Look at that. Shout out to Sacred
Brother
Heart
Steven,
in the Bronx.
Yes, Brother Steven's the principal over there. He was my brother's 7th grade teacher. Y Papi, you want to talk about the Bronx. Papi tenía un pito distinto. Que like the minute my father whistled,
a whistle.
Yes, a whistle.
Yeah.
No matter where my brother was, and mind you, I say my brother because I wasn't allowed out.
Yes.
But my brother, he's 6 years older than me. Wherever my brother heard that pito,
Really? He showed up.
yeah. So
Unbelievable. That's a New York thing, though. You've got everybody's got a whistle, a certain calling.
Yes.
You would know, and you would know by the tone whether you're in trouble or you're okay, and it's just time to eat for achieving your dreams. And I just want to mention a couple of things that you have been a part of. And basically, here it is. So you've been on-screen production, a part of Saved by the Bell. You were in the movie Moxie, CBS's The Neighborhood, which isn't the real From the Neighborhood. But anyway, shout out to Cedric. Lots of love over there. Great show, by the way. And now you're working on a podcast with Crooked Media. So Dare We Say. And you were also honored, by the way, at the Dominican Day Parade. Bueno, espero que les gustó ese viajecito al South Bronx. Tengamos muchos otros lugares que llegar, pero yo quería llegar a eso porque siempre está en la noticia por malas cosas y no es justo de que sea así cuando hay gente tan bella que vinieron de esos lugares y que algunos todavía están allá y están siendo muy chéveres cosas, like really amazing things. So guys, let's go ahead and start exploring more areas because I'm going to take you guys on a fantastic voyage through everything that happened in 2022. And guess what? My man Coolio has got the song for that. Let's go.
De regreso con Anthony from the Neighborhood.
All right, I said we were going to come back to an amazing journey and then recapping some more of this 2022, this amazing year that we had. I went overhead and jumped into Brooklyn. I jumped over to Brooklyn, llegué a Brooklyn y llegué a descubrir Bushwick, right? Where I'm from somebody else's perspective. I also got a chance to see Bed-Stuy, talk about Greenpoint. I mean, there was a lot that we covered in this small time that we were together, and it always felt like an hour was not enough. Especially when we would start getting into something, it was like, how do we wrap this? How do we get it? So a lot of these people are going to be coming back because there's so much more to these communities. But I want to highlight some of the folks who were on, especially some of the beautiful things that they're doing. So one of the first and earlier episodes that I had with Imelba Martinez and Richard Trouth, he's from Bed-Stuy. Well, they're both from Bed-Stuy. They're doing stuff there. Let's go check out that episode to see how that community came together to now establish their own organization to make sure there was housing for all.
People may know our organization in our previous life. We were known as Neighborhood Housing Services of Bedford-Stuyvesant.
Okay.
We were a network of neighborhood housing services across New York City. Right. 6 years ago, Bedford-Stuyvesant separated from the network, and we developed our own individual 501c3 organization.
Wow.
And now we're called Brooklyn Neighborhood Services.
Okay.
Brooklyn Neighborhood Services has been in the neighborhood for 21 years.
You don't look that old. 21 years. Okay.
21 years.
All right.
We have been providing services to the community. When we first started out, basically, the reason for our office being even thought about is that there was a very low rate of homeownership of Black and brown people in Bedford-Stuyvesant.
Wow.
Because of that, they decided to establish an organization in that community in Brooklyn. They could have done it in East Flatbush, Park Slope, wherever, but Bedford-Stuyvesant had the lowest rate. So that was the reason for our organization starting out. For years.
Wow.
It's amazing.
So how did Imelba come into your life? Did you put her through a breakthrough?
No.
No breakthroughs.
So basically the same program we're talking about, our first time homebuyer education program. I think 15 years ago or so, I met Imelba. She was one of the realtors that we used when we did our homebuyer education.
Okay.
She would come in and present and teach people about help them to purchase home and find a home and so she was one of our presenters.
So you'd essentially pass the torch to her, and then she would take on those folks to show them a home or basically get them to that next step.
Right, pre-approved home buyers.
Wow, I love the teamwork. Great teamwork. Wow, folks, Brooklyn Neighborhood Services. You should definitely check them out if you're in Bedford-Stuyvesant. Let's go through this list again.
Sure.
Financial literacy.
So we do a first-time home buyer education.
First-time home buyer.
Foreclosure intervention counseling. Financial literacy for youth and children. We also have a very senior program. I want to say very stoic.
Wow. Okay. So you've got every age and at every stage in your life.
Yes.
Whether you're learning for financial literacy, if you're already having a home, how to maintain it. If you're having trouble with the home, how to not lose it. So, folks, this is something phenomenal.
Generational wealth. That's what he's doing. He's building everybody from the beginning to the end, from the child to the adult.
Well, I'm glad you were a part of it because, every time I've had a realtor, like they have something where they were involved with the guest and the guest has this phenomenal story, but then the real estate agent's so quiet. And now I find out 15 years ago, I
chased them down. Like, you got some buyers?
And in Brooklyn, we had so many other great people here. We had Beatrice who came in. We have Farida who came in as well. She was from Bushwick. Beatrice from Greenpoint. And I got to say that some of the things that happen sometimes happen out of necessity. And with Beatrice's her guest who came in, who runs Food for Brooklyn, this was an amazing thing that they set up, a food pantry where hunger strikes where you least expect it. So I want you guys to hear a little bit about this because a lot of the times we think of hunger, pensamos del hambre como que es problema del pobre. And it's not like that. Hunger is a silent killer. And it's beautiful to know that there's an organization like this because in a town that you think of, Greenpoint, where real estate is so expensive, the lifestyle has changed so much, you think no one has a problem of hunger. Pero la hambre anda por todos lados, no solamente con el pobre, y hay que estar cuidando de sus vecinos. So let's jump to that video real quick where we can see Beatrice speak with Laura about her organization, Food for Brooklyn. With my lovely guest, Beatrice Vargas, y ella nos ha contado un poquito de este vecindario y también nos trajo una persona muy especial para ella. They brought us a special guest, and this person is going to give us more of an insight because they're a green pointer. Can I use that? Can I use that? Yeah. What's coming on?
So I brought with me my friend Laura Beth of Food for Brooklyn, and I will tell you. Well, I'll let her tell you about her story. But Food for Brooklyn, I love food. I love food. I mean, when you ask me what I love about the neighborhood, I'm like the taco truck. But Food for Brooklyn is for other people who maybe don't have money for food. So I'll let my friend Laura Beth
Let's bring Laura
talk to us
on.
a little about what she does.
Welcome to the show.
Until we started this food pantry and we saw so many people coming. We had like up to 100 people lined up out of the door. And so we're like, oh, okay. So we just kept doing it week after week after week. And now 2 years later, we're an official nonprofit.
Congratulations.
Excited. People are still coming. So obviously there's still a need. I think people who have lived in the neighborhood for a long time. There's a big Polish community, a lot of elderly Polish people.
And that's that's that silent hunger, right? Esa es la hambre que se tiene en silencio. Ella está hablando de la comunidad y de que existen muchas personas que tienen edad ya de que son mayores en la tercera etapa. Y no se sabe que ellos tienen hambre. You don't know that they're hungry, right? Because a lot of times they also don't feel, and I don't know if maybe it's a generational thing, they also don't feel like, hey, I should be going for food and standing on a line. Or they can't, right? Physically, they can't.
Yeah.
So, estas personas aquí que no tienen la habilidad son las personas más vulnerables y hay que ayudarlo. We got to help them. So, your food pantry has been able to do that over the last 2 years?
Yeah, so if we can help them with their groceries, then they can use that money on other things that they need.
Right. Al tener comida is it for people that qualify under certain?
No, it's for anybody. We don't ask for anybody's information.
Wow.
Anybody can come.
Sin preguntas, señores. Llegan allá si el que tiene hambre. Vamos a decir esto. Si usted conoce una persona que vive en Greenpoint, Brooklyn, o le puede llegar a ese vecindario, pueden ir a este food pantry. No le hacen ninguna pregunta. No questions asked, and they have food. Talking about donations, you have a few favorites. So what's like, when they donate food, I've noticed you like some foods more than others.
Well,
what's a favorite?
So he's saying that because he looked at my Instagram, and at the beginning, we were getting most of our stuff from the GoFundMe and then the Amazon wish list because people weren't leaving their apartments. So we were getting all this stuff into my apartment. My sister and I would open the boxes and do these videos, and we'd get very excited about the peanut butter.
Oh, hold on a second. Hold on. I got something for you. If you like peanut butter?
Yeah.
You really do like peanut butter? All right. Peanut butter goes good with jelly.
It goes really
All right,
well
so
with
check
jelly.
this out. Check this out. I love
Peanut
this here.
butter jelly time. Peanut butter jelly time. Peanut butter jelly time. Where you at? Where you at?
Okay, so now we're back. And like I said, it's a fantastic voyage. Estamos en un viaje fantástico y ya ahora estamos entrando a lo que es Queens. Y en Queens hay muchas cosas que, bueno, todo lo que hay que hacer en Queens, pero llegando allá, déjame comenzar con Corona, Queens, y ahí yo me encontré con Zoila, y Zoila Zoila trajo una persona que es un representante de la comunidad, y esta persona es una persona que ha hecho muchas cosas por la comunidad. It's a government official who was the district leader, and this person talks about the history, and not only that, but Zoila herself is deeply involved in government affairs and ensuring housing and basically getting established basic needs for people of that community. And as you know, Corona, Queens, home of the Mets, Flushing Meadow Park, US Open, so many activities that happen there. So it's definitely something to check out. Let's hear some of the things that they were doing and how they have been making changes for Corona. And Zoila, you're on the show right now. Tell us, as you represent Corona, Queens, what's good?
What's good, everyone? Good morning.
Actually, you're a big person of the community. Tú eres una gran persona de la comunidad. Siempre estás luchando por la persona de tu propio vecindario. E incluso, era un agente de finques raíces, pero es como que eso viene de parte de tu pasión de ser parte de la comunidad. So it's an extension of who you are to be a real estate agent.
Thank you. We have the National Advocacy Committee, and in that committee, we have 3 key priorities that we're behind. Housing inventory. As you know, we are very, very in need of housing inventory.
Yes.
High demand, low supply.
Right.
Our second key priority is access to credit.
Okay.
Without the access to credit, many of our Hispanic homeowners would be difficult to be homeowners. So that is something that we are behind, making sure that products are there for them to purchase their home.
Right.
And also immigration. Immigration is key to what we need in our communities, labor shortages. So
Wow.
I have the pleasure of introducing our 2-term district leader, Hiram Montserrat. Hiram Montserrat is the pioneer in our Queens history of the first elected Latino in government position.
Wow.
As our first city council
Wow.
member in 2001.
Applause, please, folks. This is huge. I love this. I go into a district leader's office, right? Let me visualize this. Déjame visualizar esto. Entro a una oficina de líder del distrito y llego allá y voy allá con qué tipo de encuestas, inquietudes, right? What kind of questions, what kind of concerns can I walk in?
First of all, most district leaders don't have an office. We're actually a volunteer position. People should know that.
Wow.
We have an office because our club has a space, and that space we use to interact with the community. People come to us with everything under the sun that you can imagine. Issues with their deeds on their homes, someone passing away and not being able to afford a proper burial. People come with immigration issues.
Wow.
People have come that their house got a violation from the buildings department. So
Right.
we deal with all of that, and then basically we try to fix, right, or connect them to the resources
And this
they
isn't
need.
just your office. This is like every district leader's office is expected to like receive
They should
this
be
kind of-
doing something. right?
Wow. Well, listen, folks, if you're in your community and it's not Corona or East Elmhurst where Hiram is, count on your district leader to be this person that's going to be the one you can come to and start something. Right. Y como todavía estamos aquí en Corona and we're still in Corona, we're going to jump over to a business owner who's now setting up a bigger business. And this is my man, Will, with Negozi. There's a tech company that has one of its founders in Corona, Queens. Let's hear about what is Negozi designed to do and where is it going to help take Latinos. I'm really excited for what this next chapter is going to look like.
Se llama Negozi.
So hold on a second. Pop off the sport coat. There we go. My man's wearing a t-shirt right here.
Can you see
all right. Let's plug this.
Camera 1 right there.
Vamos. Que sepan.
Déjame decirle lo que es. Let me tell you guys what it is. It's a social learning platform in Spanish for Hispanic entrepreneurs worldwide.
Wow.
Right? So essentially you go there and you can, we say this little thing. Ahí uno puede conectar, aprender y soportar más emprendedores latinos.
So that's an amazing thing that's going to happen. I can't wait for Ngozi to catch on so much momentum and do their thing. Y eso va a ayudar a toda la comunidad hispana. Y yo sé que hay mucha gente que están buscando la información en su idioma. Y están buscando una red de profesionales. No solamente estamos mirando los chistes en TikTok y en Instagram, pero sí que queremos crecer. Somos una gran demográfica y hay que ponernos de manera que somos útiles. De manera que nosotros nos podemos incorporar a lo que es los Estados Unidos, crecer nuestros negocios, ser dueño de casas, progresar. That's what this is all about. To be from the neighborhood is all about progress. So with something like this getting started and advancing a people, a segment of our population, this is what we need. This is how we're going to see progress and help incorporate more people to be from the community. So I got to say that there's so much that happened in Queens. I mean, there was wonderful organizations to the point where if you got in trouble, you should know about this. And my friend here, Danielle Ifras, brought over Our Children for those families that were found in that time of need, that time of stress, of incarceration, and then getting reincorporated into the world and restarting their family. Especially, this is an especially hard thing for women. Something we don't really hear about.
Here, our office shuts down. It's called Red Day, and we partner with different volunteer things. So we partnered with Our Children this year, and that's how I met Pat and Kelly and just kind of really was taken back by their organization and what they do for the community.
And the name of the organization is?
It's called Our Children,
All right.
H-O-U-R,
so
Children.
We have Pat here who's come onto the studio.
Yeah.
Hi, Pat.
Hi, how are you?
From Our Children.
Thank you.
And that's hour as in like the hour of the time
It
or
is.
hour like O-U-R?
No, it's H-O-U-R.
H-O-U-R, so hour. Okay,
Yes.
beautiful.
It has a very significant meaning, if I can.
Absolutely.
So Our Children was started by Sister Tisa Fitzgerald and the Sisters of St. Joseph.
Okay.
And when we work with women who are incarcerated and their children and formerly incarcerated women, when they come out, they come to us. And so when Sister Tisa was working with the children, she wants to make sure that when they go to school, they are able to say where they live. And so they're now living at my mother's house. So that's a very important piece. But the hour part came from the 3 important hours in a child's life who has an incarcerated mom.
Wow.
And that's the hour of her arrest, the hour of their visit, and the hour that she gets to come home and reunite with her child.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know that. Y ya usted sabe, señor, estamos siempre cubriendo cosas que están entre nuestra comunidad y a veces estamos descubriendo cosas que están en nuestra comunidad que nos pueden ayudar. And this is an amazing thing that exists. I mean, I can't think of somebody having this kind of stress, the children, the mother, and so forth. And it's just wonderful to know that this is there. And I got to move on to something that's really kind of got to me here, where I had people come onto the show. They talked about something they were going to do, and then they did it. And I got to say, this is something amazing. I've only been doing this show for close to a year, exactly 9 months. And, you know, when I think about how many people have come through the show, you know, it's making those calls. It's asking them, hey, would you want to be on the show? Here's what we're going to talk about. You got an amazing story. Come on here. And once they say yes, the experience of coming here and vocalizing what you're going to do and then actually doing it, and having been the witness of it, it's remarkable. So yo quedé súper asombrado de que han venido personas aquí y después han venido de nuevo y han hecho lo que han dicho que iban a hacer. Y tengo que darle la gracia a esta persona que lo cumplieron, porque me lo dijeron y yo siempre le pongo de que van a venir al programa y uno nunca sabe. A veces la gente le dicen que sí, no aparecen, but they did it and they came through with what they said. So big shout out to some champions that are out there. And a big shout out to the Long Island Hispanic Chamber of Commerce Business Owners of the Year. They were mentioned in 2022. So big shout out to Francine and Gabriela running their thing, Latina Business Network. Big shout out to Gary Brown for coming back with his book, Reflections of a Champion. Davika for coming back with her book. And I got to say, not just them, everybody on this show has been a champion. So with that, I'm going to jump to my song here, Kanye West, Champion.
No te muevas. Regresamos en tan solo minutos.
Yeah, so I can't cover every single story there of every one of these champions. As you know, I'm trying to get to as many people as I can. I only get an hour, but I got to definitely go to a real quick clip here. I want you to see the conversation I had with Gary Brown. This little clip here was impactful. Super Bowl champion, and you get a complete reset, and then you jump and you move on to something super big. And that's what his book was about. And I just got to jump to the video clip so you can see it. So, señores, vean este video para que vean lo que es un campeón. Big round of applause to Gary Brown. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Anthony. Thank you for having me. I'm very humbled to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, well, welcome back, because you were here before, and you know it's great to have a champion in the house. It's great to see somebody who, you know, is a champion on many different levels. Like, you didn't just come here and say, yeah, I won the Super Bowl, and everybody gets excited by that. But I want people to realize the life behind it. Now, you went through challenges in life, but I'm assuming this one reason why you came back, which, by the way, makes you paid in full with me. All right. So when I say, yo, did my boy come through with what he said he was going to come through? He did. He's paid in full. Ya él pagó su cuenta, su deuda. So lo que él prometió, sí lo pagó. Y él vino con lo que él ha cumplido recientemente, what you just recently accomplished. You said it on the show before. Tell me what you got right there next to you.
This is my my little gift to the world. It's my first book. I'm now officially a published author as well as a Super Bowl champion. But
yes, round of applause. Let's go.
but I'm also looking to blow up on a couple different platforms. I'm not trying to steal your thunder, but I'm thinking about getting on a little.
Tell us, man.
A little podcast.
Say it right now.
A little podcast going on.
Applaud that, man.
Yeah,
of course, man.
And it's going to be. You're the inspiration, because it's a feel good thing. You know what I mean? And it's about bringing light to people that need that light. You know?
Thank you.
I appreciate the opportunity.
Man, I feel so small right now. You got a Super Bowl champion who just said I'm an inspiration. Are you kidding me? Dude.
You're good at what you do, man. And I appreciate you.
Oh my God. These are one of those times on the show where you just don't know what to do. Thank you very much, Gary. And but the applaud goes to you, man. Your podcast. What's it going to be called? Do you have a title? When's it coming out?
That's under wraps still. We're still working on that. I don't want to ruin. I don't want to give somebody the wrong inspiration, the wrong thing.
Leave the tease. I think this entire time, and what you've been saying is, don't give up, faith in yourself, right? And tomorrow's another day. Just move forward. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely, man. You know.
And I want to just remind people real quick here. We've been talking about the book. We've been talking about Gary's story, and his book is called Reflections of a Champion. Right here, guys. So every one of these shows have brought me a gift, and I mentioned it before, how it's the gift of me speaking to somebody and learning things and just reflecting back on, you know, what life experiences are like and being able to share it with you guys. I hope this is making an impact and inspiring you guys, getting you guys motivated and seeing, hey, man, I'm seeing my peers. I'm seeing my neighbors doing things. So esto debe motivarlos, inspirarlos a ustedes que están viendo vecinos, gente común como nosotros, no están haciendo cosas que ellos, o sea, que usted no lo puede hacer. No están haciendo cosas que ellos, o sea, le ponen reto y fue un milagro que lo cumplieron. No, this is everyday people that are accomplishing things in everyday places. And they're giving us an insight of what life is like. And we've had people that have traveled the entire world, 30 plus countries. My wife was on the show, Jackie Gomez. Big shout out to you, babe. She's traveled over 30 countries and continues to do so. And she said something on the show that in 2023, I want to bring her back and see if it comes to fashion just the way it came for those people who wrote books, right? Just the way it came for a lot of people who were on this program. I want to see that impact. So she's somebody there that's traveled all these countries. Daniel Hastings took us through a whole journey of hip hop and took us through there. Matter of fact, he gave me an awesome gift. And I'm just going to jump to that video clip real quick so you can see what he gave me that day, because this is his own work, which is probably in the living rooms of many hip hop lovers. So, señores, chequen este video con Daniel Hastings, el fotógrafo y director creativo de la nueva festival. Bueno, ya lleva 8 años. El Festival Latino oficial del Latino Film Festival. Let's check it out. And that's why I wanted to play that song, because my man right here,
Mystery Chess Boxing, bro.
You worked on the Wu-Tang.
Yeah.
Hey.
And I know you was a big fan of the Wu-Tang, because one time we were hanging out, we we did the whole repertoire walking on the streets of New York. And
You
I was
remember
like,
that, right?
Yeah, I remember that.
The
man.
Lansing Street.
Yeah, the Lansing Street. We were like rapping all the songs with my kids, actually.
Oh my God, Lower East Side. Nosotros estamos ahí en el Bajo Manhattan, ahí en la calle de Lansing. Nosotros comenzamos a rapear toda la canción de Wu-Tang.
Yeah, man. And I brought you a song for you because you're such a big fan of the Wu-Tang. So I couldn't come empty-handed.
Come
brother.
on.
I couldn't come empty-handed, bro.
What? Wow. Holy cow.
That's
36
an original
chambers.
That's an original piece, bro.
Señores,
Brought to you.
Mira, una razón para que usted no vea en el video aquí, latinomix2x's.com. Éntrate a la página, check it out para que usted lo vea. All right, guys. So as you know, guys, even while you're back here, folks, they recognize that, you know, we're all in this business together, and it's the creative energy and creative flow. And I was so happy to have received that. You know, that's obviously one of the covers that he worked on. Wu-Tang, probably immortal, right? That music is unbelievable. So Staten Island, stand up. You guys are represented here on the show. And that was, you know, that's the guy who put it together. He put it together. He was the one that was bringing those images forward on many of your favorite artists. So very happy to have had him here in the studio, and super proud of what he's creating now with the film festival. So this is going to be amazing. Now, I'm going to go to something here that brings me back to a little bit more humble ground as when we started. And that was when, well, when I had my cousin, my mom and dad. We had some good time on this show, and you guys got to hear some stories, and I'm really happy that they were on. My son was even on the show, so I'm going to go ahead and just, you know, share some of that with you guys as we move on. You know, maybe you'll see him grow through the show. I'm not sure, but, you know, these folks are going to come back to the program. Ellos van a regresar al programa. Son personas muy cercanas de uno que dejan que uno se pueda conectar a la audiencia, para que usted sepa que yo también soy como ustedes. Estoy pasando por retos y problemas y todo tipo de cosas que, bueno, uno dice, eso no le pasa. Él está en la radio. No, this is the real world. This is from the neighborhood. So guys, I'm going to go ahead and jump to a real quick clip because there's some folks who are from the neighborhood getting together with their neighbor and setting up some amazing associations. So let's jump to one real quick here. Narup, Long Island, right here in your neighborhood. Check out this video. And I'm going to start over here with ladies first. And that's going to be Susie Padro and Laura Guillén. And on my left side over here, we've got Sydney Rodriguez. And who are these folks? First of all, let's give them a big round of applause as I introduce. They are your NARUP Long Island Board. And NARUP is the National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals. And they are here to talk to us about what their nonprofit is all about. So and this is all volunteer.
All volunteer.
Todo esto es de voluntario. Ustedes no le están pagando nada para que estén tratando de organizar eventos. Dar seminarios educativos.
I met all these other people that are so passionate about NARUP, and they're like, oh, it's the best organization. We learn so much. There's so much value to being a part of this and growing within the Hispanic community. And I realized, I'm like, there's a lot of information that we don't see and we don't realize is out there.
Yeah. So being with this organization has given me so much more confidence and a bigger feeling of like I deserve to be here. I belong.
Group gets together. That's who we try to put in the room is financial planners, lenders, accountants, people.
O sea, esos guías para tu dinero. So obviamente no le llego a todo el mundo que estaba en el programa. I can't get to everybody who was on the show. I can't get to every single episode that we covered, but I'm going to shout out a couple of names here to know that you're definitely loved, and I was really happy to have you be a part of it. So those folks, if you didn't hear your name before, you're going to hear it now. So I want to shout out Eunice. I want to shout out Chris Reimers, who was on here. We talked about Valley Stream. We talked about Elmont. I want to shout out Sal Crafasi when we talked about Ridgewood. I want to shout out Farida. I know I mentioned you before, but we talked about Bushwick, so you get a second mention on that. I want to talk Wendy. We talked about Patch Hog. She was on here. I want to shout out Ruth Fleury when we talked about her book, Hyper Kids, So They Say. So she's definitely somebody to check out. I want to definitely shout out Karina Tom, MJ, and Veronica, and wishing you guys the very best in coffee meets real estate. Way to girls. And I think you girls are going to do phenomenal. So continue with that. And obviously my mom, dad, my cousin Tito. Want to give you a big shout out, man. Plenty of love to you guys. And I'm wishing the very, very best for 2023. I'm glad to be back. Let's make every Saturday fun. You know it's your favorite hour, Saturday, 11 o'clock. And I got another show to do. So I'm going to be on to the next one. And you know I take it from Brooklyn. So my man Jay-Z is going to wrap up this show with On to the Next.
Desde la cabina más importante de Long Island, en New York, infórmate de lo que pasa en tu barrio. En 3, 2, 1. Arrancamos. Anthony from the Neighborhood en Latino Mix. Dale play a tu bocina.